Okay, so remember that they are changing my voice. So in Matthew 11, verse 34, it says, "You brood of vipers, how can you who are evil say anything good? From out of the mouth come, for the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. A good man brings good out of the good stored in him, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him." So actions speak louder than words. And a good man brings good out of the good stored up in him, and an evil man brings evil out of the evil stored up in him. And actions speak louder than words. And what speaks louder than the top martial artist striking with righteousness that was stored up inside of him? Righteousness from God, which is God, stored up inside him, and he's striking at world record speed. That is speaking louder than any priest reading scripture. Okay, what is the essence of scripture, right? They say the sword of the Spirit, the sword of scripture, which is the sword of the Spirit. So it's the essence of scripture is the Spirit. Now, how do you get to the essence? How do you get to the essence? How do you get to the intense essence of scripture? It's martial arts. Why? Because the Lord is a warrior. It's monotheistic martial arts. So if somebody, if I was in a building, for example, and I'm striking at world record speed at a certain time after reading certain scriptures that calibrate my mind to certain ideas. And here comes whoosh, these world record blows, okay? And you see that evil is struck down in the area. The spirit of evil that wants to come into the room, into the temple, right? It's more sanctified. It's more intensely fused with the Spirit of God. It's more intensely injected with the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God is conveyed in the martial arts strikes with focused moral intensity into that area. And that area becomes more purified. And it becomes more intensely righteous because there's the water that's pure and there's the fire that's intense. Like the sun is more intense than a regular fire. And so the sun is the symbol of the bridegroom, is a symbol of martial intensity, is a symbol of the champion. It says the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. And it says they pour forth speech. Okay, they force forth speech without speaking. Okay, so when you connect Psalm 19 to Matthew, 11 or 12? It's Matthew 12. Okay, you get that a good man brings good things up a good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him. Okay, after it says that how can you who are evil say anything good? So how can you who are evil say anything good? How can you who are evil do good martial arts? How can you who are evil have a movement or a nation or a building or a grouping that is good or a family that is good? How can you who are evil produce anything good? How can your deeds be good? And he says, you brood of vipers, because you seek to snake the righteous with your fairy-like Pharisee arguments that aren't fair. They chase fantasies. Like it says in Proverbs, they chase fantasies instead of doing the work of God. They're delusional instead of doing the work of God. And so how can you who chase fantasies, how can you who choose mere illusion, right? The word illusion starts with the word el, because you have to live in reality or you're ill. How can you who chase illusions do anything good? When the heavens proclaim the glory of God, my martial arts proclaim the glory of God. Out of the good stored up in me. How can those who chase illusions, right? The word begins with L, illusions, do anything good? How can those who are too ill to live in reality claim to do anything good? They can't. They're wicked. They've chosen the dark paths of iniquity out of the evil stored up in them. And they refuse to purge their hearts. They refuse to cleanse their spirit. They refuse to purify themselves so that they can store up good in them and have that good come forth and be conveyed to the masses. It can be conveyed into the world, which is doing the work of God instead of the work of the devil. So when we get to Matthew 13, okay, verse 49, it says, this is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. We go to verse 54. it says, coming to his hometown, he began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? They asked. They said, where did this man get these miraculous powers? And the miracles are figurative, right? Water is figurative, Revelation 17. So the powers are martial powers. The powers are the power to strike with focused moral intensity, right? The root and offspring of David, the warrior King David, and the bright morning star, the sun, the symbol of the bridegroom, the symbol of the champion. Miraculous. Miracle. My God cell, my God existence. God formed me in the womb of my mother and set me apart to be destined to be the top martial artist. That in itself is a miracle. Okay, this earth has been here, they say 4 billion years or so. It's one number you get. The universe was here before that. There's going to be one top martial artist ever possible. One. And that is me. So it's a miracle that I'm the top martial artist ever possible. That is the pinnacle of the earth being ripe. The earth is being harvested for righteousness, okay? And people chose wickedness. And that's what seals the earth into hell. It's the parable of the barren fig tree. As the earth refused to bear righteousness, except for me, that it's being thrown into the fire. The earth sinks, never to rise again. So heavy upon it is the guilt of its rebellion that it sinks, never to rise again. So some people might be foolish enough to say, well, why do you keep saying these things when people aren't, listening to you or whatever? Because it's moral repetition. It's the continuity of morality. I'm cultivating morality. I'm storing up good in me, and I'm conveying good. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. The sun, my sun, will never set. I, as the sun, so to speak, will never set. I will continue to cultivate righteousness forever, and I will continue to convey righteousness forever, and that's what the sun is a symbol of. Forever conveying righteousness. Because when the primitive man comes into this world and sees the sun, he doesn't know if it's going to burn out or not. He doesn't believe it's going to burn out. He doesn't know what to think about it, we'll say. So it's a symbol of continuing to be an eternal flame, your eternal soul continuing to be a fire of God, to have the fire of God in it, the fire from the hearts of the righteous continuing to be in your soul, the fire of God and the righteous continuing to be in your soul. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for now. We're pretty far out there on Westcliff, like it ends up there somewhere or something. We're pretty close to the end of it. So the traffic is pretty light, but I've had a bit of traffic. I've clashed with a few people. Some people did the old looking down gesture. They're saying, hey, we don't want to hear that. We're looking down. Some people put their nose up. And for the most part, they were kind of cordial. They were kind of polite overall. And I was polite overall. The more kind of animosity or rejection or resentment or looks of disapproval I get, the more I kind of project scripture in a certain way that kind of tramples down their spirit. And I've been very successful. I've won all exchanges. Thank you.